Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday night. It's 7 o'clock. It's time for Content and Cocktails, my weekly deep dive into all things video marketing. If you are new here and you haven't come along to Content and Cocktails before, then welcome. If you are watching on my personal feed or on our business page or live over on YouTube or on Twitter or on wherever it is, and you're not a member of our free group Grow Your Business with Video with Tom Stanhope, please come on over and get stuck in there, because it's a great place to learn about video content creation and video content marketing for your business. Content and Cocktails is all about kind of an informal dive into some of the more how should we say, kind of foundational parts of video content creation. And it's a chance for you to ask me anything you want about video marketing and video creation, and I will do my best to answer. Hello, Mike. It's Mike Boss, long time viewer, Mike Boss, here again. But as it is called Content and Cocktails, hello, what happened there? The content we're going to be talking about tonight is all about customer journey and how you use video to take people on a journey. And what I mean by that is, how do you make the experience of kind of being a customer of yours as good as it can be, and how can you use video to improve that experience for somebody who has bought from you? The cocktails side of this evening is once again coming from Bernard's 100 Cocktails. And given that I walked through the door about 5 minutes ago and thought, oh, balls, I don't know what cocktail I'm going to be making, I sort of randomly opened the page and I thought, whichever one comes up, I'm going for it. We're going for the Devil's Cocktail. So, hello, Vicky, how you doing? So the Devil's Cocktail is very simple. I think it barely qualifies as a cocktail. It's a half measure of peppermint, not creme de menthe, but a half measure of peppermint and a measure of brandy shaken over ice. And I've had it before. It's very nice, actually. It's kind of quite refreshing. It's been a very muggy day here. There's a bit of a storm coming in, I think. So I'm going to mix the Devil's Cocktail. Is anybody joining me? If you have peppermint and brandy in your house, by all means. It's a bit of a random combination, but it bizarrely works very well. So we're going to put a measure of brandy, and this isn't the world's finest brandy, and I imagine this will improve with a better brandy. So please don't think ill of me. I'd hate for you to think that I was skimping on the brandy. And then just a peppermint cordial, half measure of that. And then give it a bit of a shake. How are we doing, guys? How has your week been? What have you been up to? Tell me, whilst I mix the cocktail, tell me about your weeks. Hello, Scott. There we go. Shaken up. And it's sort of the colour of Werther's Original. And actually is kind of like a boozy Werther's Original. Ah, yes, you were out face to facing, weren't you, Scott? Cheers, well done. How did that feel? Must have been a bit weird to be back out there doing that sort of live face to face stuff again. That is very nice. I always thought, Mike, you're going to laugh, because every time I have a cocktail, I say, oh, that's very nice. But this is very nice. It does taste a little bit like Sweeties. It's sort of got mint humbug feel to it. Very nice. I like it. Yeah, so we're getting back out there, aren't we? Sure as we forgot some bits. Yeah, oh, this is it. It must have been odd to be out there again, but I'm really glad you are, because I know it's been a strange old 18 months for anybody who's in the professional speaking world. But my word, Scott is somebody who has adapted with great aplomb over this last year, which sort of, leads me in a slightly tangential way into thinking about that journey that we take customers on. We're not talking about video content here as a lead generation tool or a conversion tool or something to kind of actively bring people across the sale point, the finish line. We're talking about video as a way to nurture existing customers, to kind of help people get the most out of the experience of working with you. And so over the next few minutes, we're gonna take a look at a few things. One, how you can deliver important information. So that could be onboarding, or it could be course delivery, or something like that. You can also how you can make people feel good about video. And then I'm going to share with you some of the tech bits and pieces I use. So what happens when you sell somebody something, be it a product or a service? Is it purely transactional? Is it or is there a journey to be had? And that's why, and for a lot of us, we are people who are looking to develop quite long-term relationships with our customers, particularly if we are delivering them a service over a period of time. Video can play a really important part in that journey. Now, here's a great example. So one company that we've worked with is a payment transaction processing company. They are big. So they do they handle millions and millions of card transactions every single day, right across the world. And they have a network of they sell the physical card machines and the contracts associated with them to business owners, both large and small business owners. And one of the things that they were struggling with is that their aftercare team, their support lines, found themselves answering some particular sets of questions time and time and time again. And so we came in and we were, as part of that process, we'd been involved with them with other projects before. And one of the questions I asked is, are there any parts of the business where video content could save some time? And I asked about whether there were any recurring customer questions that could be answered using video rather than people repeatedly picking up the phone. And one of them was so simple. It was how do you fit a paper roll into a new type of machine? They were getting hundreds of calls about people going, I don't know how to fit this the paper roll into the card machine, which seems like should be a really easy thing to create, to sort of to buy back some time for the organization. Because if you've got your customer care lines dealing with a recurring question day in, day out, people are going to be wasting hours of time within the organization. So this seemed like a classic point where I could help them with one of those two fundamental things that video should be doing. It should be either making you money or saving you time. And this fell very much into the saving you time side of things. And so we created some video content that was on, I think it's probably still up there. Created some video content on their site, purely designed to show people how to do this kind of regular, kind of everyday maintenance stuff on their card machines. And that was that. And it saved hundreds of hours of man hours a month, which I thought was brilliant. It was such a wonderfully simple way to win some time back for that business. And it's an important question to ask yourself. Are there those questions in your business that you get asked time and time again? What are your FAQs? Take a bit of time to identify your FAQs in your business and then create some content around that. And you can direct people to that. So if you've got customers who are new to you, and it's whether it's a product or a service, and people kind of have questions that come up time and time again, you can create some very simple video content that answers those questions, which will make your customers' experience of working with you much better, but will also save you lots of time, because at the start of that process of working with somebody, you just say, well, if you've got any questions and if they fall into this category, have a look on this page on the website, and you'll see links to a variety of different questions that I will that I know you may have. And so if you can identify those FAQs and answer them, some time saved. Now, I've talked about mapping the customer, the journey to people becoming a customer before. So understanding that customer journey before the sale. Hello, Karen, how you doing? It's really important to map the customer journey after the sale, because that journey doesn't stop when somebody hands over some cash. You want to be obviously not just delivering the project or the product, you want to be making the experience of the product or the service to be as enjoyable as possible, and working out that sort of the through line through working with you, and looking at it and going, is there anywhere where I can add video content in to make this more enjoyable? So it could just be something as simple as a thank you video on a sales page, or a thank you video that you send by email to somebody when they become a client. There's a few ways you can do that. You can either do it with a pre-recorded one, or I use a video emailing service called Warm Welcome. There's other ones, BombBomb. There's a lot of different options out there, but I use Warm Welcome because it was an AppSumo deal, and I went for it. It's very good. So I use video, sort of email video, to do a personalized welcome when people start working with me one-to-one in some cases. Not for everybody, because some people I've got a very sort of already sort of back and forth relationship, and it might feel a bit weird to just randomly send a video email saying welcome. But if you've got different ways that you can add that personal touch on that journey after the sale, it elevates that customer experience from being something that is not something that's ordinary to being extraordinary. Karen, I just want to say I have seen your message, and I was going to send you a response this evening, because my feet have not touched the ground today. It's been bananas. So I'm not I'm not ignoring you, just so you know. I'll send you a video message, or not, because that might just be annoying. Yeah, so the process of kind of understanding the journey is valuable, because once you understand that journey, you can understand where those video pieces of content can make a big difference. Is that all sort of making sense so far? Any questions at all? Just gonna check, see what we got. There we go. I'll send you a video message, Karen. In fact, no, I can't do it now, because I'll have to go off on the Oh, actually, should we? You know what? I might send you. See if I can send you a message live. We could do. I'll bring in a secondary camera and see if I can send you a live message. So, oof, Karen Dawkins. Oh, that's the wrong Karen. There's a number of Karens. Do I even have? Yeah. Well, so warm welcome. I don't know if you've come across these kind of these tools before, but they are they're ways that you can embed an email, embed video in your emails very easily, and it's quite a seamless way of doing things, and it is as simple as ABC. If I can blooming well find the Video Academy members. There we go. So I use Gmail for my email, and there's just a plugin, and it just says record a video, and you just click the button, and then you add in the person it's going to, as you'd expect it to. Oh, it's not going to do it. You didn't mean. I'll do it afterwards, but you can let everyone know you've got it. But as a tool, I highly recommend it, and it's interesting because it's a great outreach tool if you're doing sales related work. So going back before the sale, that kind of personal outreach, it's quite difficult to ignore, but also it doesn't feel overly creepy. It's just a chat. It's a really good way to go. I don't know actually. I'll see if AppSumo, they might still be doing it. I'm a big fan of AppSumo. If you haven't if you've not used it before, it's kind of it's got some great tools for all sorts of digital marketing. It's not just marketing, it's all sorts of things, but very often there are sort of marketing applications. And I can see actually there's something called Pictory. Create short social videos from long form content in minutes with a smart AI solution. I might take a look at that. So Warm Welcome is one of those tools that I got through there, and they do lifetime deals, so you pay a one-off fee, relatively small one. It's like sort of $50 or $60, and then you have access to the tool for life. And over the years, I've had some amazing bargains through it. Things that have products that have gone on to become really really useful services that I've paid for once and got real value out of. But Warm Welcome is one of those that's been very good, and I think there's all sorts that I've used over the years. But as a way of augmenting that kind of customer process, that journey, that communication, it's really great. Say I didn't mean now. Yes, it was getting a little bit complicated. I thought a live demo might be fun, but not quite the best thing. Now you'll have seen. I don't know if you saw in the group in Grow Your Business with Video, I shared with you a picture of this chap here. Now I promised I'd give a bit of context, and I realized I didn't actually follow up on that. So I use this. This is obviously a dummy's head. It's not a real head, obviously. And I use it for demonstrating lighting techniques and all sorts of stuff. So I'm doing a training tomorrow morning for Video Academy members, all about practical video. And one of the things I want to talk about is lighting. And so I use a disembodied head to show lighting techniques. So there we go. That's why I had this head in the group. I don't have a name for him. So, names, please. It's a bit creepy, isn't it? I hadn't realised that it was just sat on the shelf behind me, and I had some meetings today, and the owner of the company that I was dealing with said, "Tom, what on earth is behind you?" Mike says. There you go. Fred the Head. Fred the Head is somewhat slimmer than me. It's okay. Yeah, well, it's he hasn't got blue eyes. I'll maybe paint Fred the Head's eyes blue, just to and give him a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. But it's quite so. Why would you have this? Yes, he is creepy. Sarah, it's true. Fred the Head is creepy. But you would have something like this, because one of the things that some people struggle with, particularly if they've got their own video setup and they're using kind of manual lenses, sometimes it can be a bit difficult to get critical focus. So what you can do is you can just sort of put the head on a spike and put the head on a stand, not a spike. Don't do that. And put it where you would be sitting, so you can get critical focus on the head, check the lighting out, so that when you press record on your camera, you can go back to where you would be, remove the head, and then just, you'll know that you'll be in focus and lit correctly. So it's quite a useful little tool to have. And you can get them off Amazon for like £10. And yeah, they're a bit creepy, but they're kind of funny as well. So it was a bit like, the end scene in Seven, that the box arrived, and I was like, what's in the box? It's a severed head. Fred the Head. Karen, you win. Fred the Head is the name. But I'm aware that I did sort of promise some information about oh God. I can well imagine. I've completely been derailed now. Customer journey. That's what we were talking about. I might mix another one of these. I think we need another devil's cocktail. So actually, what I hadn't read the sort of the description, because part of the fun with so the devil's cocktail. Maybe just Gwyneth after. Oh, that's good. Yes, but I think Gwyneth Paltrow does not look like that. So the devil's cocktail, again, it's half a measure of peppermint to a full measure of brandy, shaken over ice, and then strained into a cocktail glass. But as always with 100 cocktails, there is a little kind of sentence comment underneath, and it says, "This cocktail is quite strong, not for beginners." There we go. So derailed or bad. This is all taking a very dark turn, isn't it? You're my kind of people. Oh, where's my... Right, so it is a little bit of ice. Yeah, that's true. I'm not a beginner. It's not for beginners, so don't, I wouldn't make that mistake. But it's a very nice drink, and I think after doing content and cocktails for getting on for 20 months now, or however long it is, it's kind of we're almost at the 20-month mark. I can very much class myself as not a beginner. So it's a measure of brandy and half a measure of peppermint. Although I said it's not creme de menthe, but I suspect a creme de menthe would work rather well, but it might sort of give it a bit of a muddy colour, because the peppermint cordial is a clear colour, and it sort of gives it all a slightly Werther's original-ish. Sarah, this is we're the two cocktail zone now is like Mike and Mike, Karen, and Scott have been here, and the early days of Content and Cocktails, where I accidentally strayed into the 3 cocktail zone. Those mistakes don't get made anymore. I'm not an amateur. Nobody needs to see a slightly tipsy video person chuntering about God knows what after his 3rd martini. You're not helping, Nick. You're not helping. Cheers. Is anybody joining with me for a tipple this evening? Cheers. It's very nice. I've said it. It's very nice. It is basically it's kind of the mint flavor does kind of keep the it takes the sort of hard edges off the brandy and kind of gives it quite a nice warm round warm rounded flavor. Lord have mercy on our souls. Well, it is a devil's cocktail, Mike, so we have to make sure we're asking the right people. Fabian, I would not mix my cocktails. That would be that'd be a mistake. That would be a rookie error, particularly from this book. So this little cocktail book is full of some truly brain shriveling cocktails. It's from 1945, and it is a real it's kind of, it makes for an interesting read. Sarah, so yes, Sarah, it was a measure of brandy and half a measure of peppermint. So peppermint cordial. So I just use the Schweppes peppermint cordial, and then just shake it over ice and strain it, and it's very nice. It's kind of it barely qualifies as a cocktail in as much as it's only got those 2 ingredients. One more and he orders. It's not that kind of show, Mike, but it could be. Who knows? The live event, which is kind of percolating through my head at the moment, is definitely we would have to have food there, I think. Nick says, I'm disappointed in that I realized the Girls' World head I was bragging about owning actually isn't here. Oh dear, you're going to have to order a Fred the Head. I will I'll put a link to anybody who wants, because I cannot actually, it's one of these stupid things. It is in fact an incredibly useful bit of kit if you are checking the sort of checking the kind of the quality control of your lighting and the setup of your camera. It's a useful bit of kit. I just good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Personally, I'd do a double. Oh, we appear to have strayed firmly into the cocktails version, the part of this show, haven't we? Personally, I'd do a double of the brandy and a single of the peppermint. Why mess about with? Well, you could be sharing it with friends then, Karen. But I'm guessing perhaps that's not the point. Fred the Head. Oh, that's a good idea. A T-shirt with a creepy head on it, maybe. Fred the Head. Fred the Head said, you know what? I'm warming to this idea. Fred the Head. Well, Nick, you're going to be getting a full dose of Fred the Head tomorrow. Tomorrow morning we've got 2 hours of video training to get into, or as much as you can frankly stomach. Nick, you don't have to be there for the full 2 hours, but Fred will be featuring heavily. But Fred the Head merch, I quite like that. It's very easy to work with. When you've got that kind of talent, you don't need to make a fuss. So Fred's the kind of talent you need to work with. I haven't done a check to see if there's anybody on Twitch tonight. Yeah, we've got a Twitch viewer again. So hello, Twitch. Somebody out there is watching thinking, what on earth have I stumbled on? Because we're going, so just for your viewing pleasure. So when I do these lives, as part of the kind of maximizing strategy that I have around live video, I'm using StreamYard, and I use StreamYard to go live to 7 different places simultaneously. Some of those are quite a few of those are Facebook locations, but I've sort of, from a conversation I had with Scott when I first started doing this, he was doing Twitch, and I thought, well, I'll add Twitch. So we have a Twitch channel called Video Skills Made Easy, and there is one person every week. There's usually somebody on Twitch watching, and there is one person out there. So whoever that might be, if you're out there on Twitch, welcome. And yes, there has been a disembodied head. I'm sorry. That's just the way we roll. Yeah, so I use multiple I stream to multiple locations in order to get the most out of the live. You know, if you're kind of if you're, I think I called it so yeah, so I was delivering a training around repurposing your content and getting the most out of your live content, and one of the things I said is actually it's not just about what you do afterwards with the live content, it's what you do before it. So pre-purposing. So as part of my pre-purposing strategy, I make sure my live is going out to as many different locations as it can be, so as many different people can see this nonsense as as is good. So Nick says, I'll make sure I have plenty of caffeine. Please do. It's a wise thing to do. A wise thing to do. So going back to the theme of this evening, this kind of customer journey, how we use video to take people on a kind of a journey. One of the things you can do is at the end of the process of working with somebody, you can have a sort of an offboarding video. If you've got onboarding video content to help people get the most out of your product or service, you can have something at the very end of the process. I'll come to that comment in a second, Karen, because you were late. You don't get to make comments like that. But it's fair. There is a theme. It's just very well hidden. How rude. Fred the Head would never give me that kind of jip. So using video as a way to sort of debrief is quite a good thing to do. So you can have a thank you at the start and a thank you at the end. And actually, one thing that you can do is you can be using video to ask for the testimonials and the case studies, which is such an important part of the process. And don't forget, if you can build that into your onboarding process, as well as your sort of offboarding process. Yes, I saw that, and I will be. I'm going to be. I think I might be taking them up on that tonight. But yeah, it's worth doing, I think. I've come to really like. Now look, I know there are lots of different streaming options out there, but I've very much found that that StreamYard suits my needs very well. They've also just added, which is great, the ability to do a live pre-record replay. So you can set everything up, you can link a file, and it just goes out at a certain time, which I thought was great. I think we needed Tom Stanhope, Fred the Head, face-to-face chat in a Smith and Chase style. This is becoming its own thing, isn't it? This is becoming its own thing. So Karen said, was there a theme? There was, Karen. The theme tonight was, just check, customer journey. And so we've kind of, sort of, perhaps, maybe been talking around the idea of using video as part of that, that journey that we take people on when they are customers after the point of sale. How can you plug in different bits of video content? It's Kerry. Hello, Kerry. How are you doing? You've missed the really weird conversations we've been having. You haven't missed out particularly, but what you have seen, if you go back, you will have seen a disembodied head, some cocktails, and hopefully, possibly, some useful chat about using video as part of the customer journey. But cheers. It's lovely to have you here as our tech and funnel expert in the house on the live. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I'm not going to go too deeply into this subject. I wanted to just get you thinking about using it's Fred. There you go. There is a reason, but you'll have to watch again to find out what the reason is, why there's a head. Cheers. Yeah, I just want to get you thinking about the journey we take people on. That's a reasonable response, Carrie. Oh crikey. It's anything less than that would have been sort of, there is a purpose. Anyway, we're getting derailed again. So what I want you to do when you go away from this live, think about the kind of the through line from the point of sale to final delivery, or whatever that ongoing relationship is with your customer, and think where you can plug video into that experience, into that journey, to make the experience of working with you easier for you and much more enjoyable for the customer. That's it. That's all I'm going to suggest. That's my thought for this week. Any questions? We've got a little time left. God, we've feels like we've covered quite a lot of ground tonight, and it's only 22. I won't string this out for much longer then, but hit me with some questions. Anything you like. Ask me anything. Go on then. Anything. Doesn't have to be about video. It could be about anything. I'm aware this is dangerous territory that we're getting into, but I'm prepared. I'm ready. Sarah says, what are you filming on for this live? Good question. So I am using an Elgato Camlink 4K plugged into a Sony A7S camera. And I'm using a 50mm 50mm Pentax Super Takumar lens. Now, this is not your usual live setup, but what it does is it gives me an awful lot of control over the image. So I'm getting a nice bit of knocked out of focus background. I'm using a high-end camera as a webcam. So what I've done is we've upgraded our camera kit, and I've been able to take the Sony A7S, which is like it's a really good camera, and I've been able to, using this capture card, this dongle, it's a USB dongle. You plug that in your computer, then you take an HDMI cable from your camera to the dongle, and then you have a bit of software on your computer which acts as the interface, and so that allows me to use this camera as a webcam. The good thing about this is that I can now put all sorts of different lenses on this camera, and this Super Takumar lens is a late 60s vintage Pentax lens. It's entirely manual, and it basically makes everything look beautiful. It's got a faintly radioactive coating on the lens, which gives a beautiful kind of bokeh, which is that kind of the sort of, you can't see it here because it isn't quite as extreme, but I'll try and show you actually. So I'll open the aperture right up, and then kind of, you can see it's gone a little, as you open the aperture up on a camera, you'll reduce the depth of field, so there'll be a much thinner sliver that is in focus. So if you see I move forward, I get a little softer. If I move back, I get a little softer. There we go. The blurriness isn't to do with the cocktails. So yeah, what I'm filming on is it's a fairly high-end setup, but it gives me, it looks really nice. So Sarah, that's what I'm filming on for this live. Is the plant real? It is. It's this is the baby monstera. We have an absolute beast of a monstera upstairs, which has now it's now at about 7 foot high. But it's a rescue plant. Like there was a really neglected monstera that was left on the street when we first moved to Plymouth, and I walked past it and I was like, nope, I'm having that. I picked it up and repotted it, and have basically, the thing has just returned the favor by growing crazily. I sort of divided it out and kind of went for it. So yeah, it is real, and it's a whopper. How do you put the titling on live? So this is a feature of StreamYard. StreamYard, I will share my screen actually, because I can show you. Share screen. We'll have a slightly freaky so yeah, it looks a bit freaky, doesn't it? So you can see down the side here, this, you'll get this infinity effect, which is pretty unpleasant, but it's a good way to show you. So the StreamYard setup, I've got all your comments. So I'm going live to 1, 2, 3. I'm only going live to 6 locations today. So there's 6 locations, and it'll tell me where people are. And then the comments pop up down there. And when I click on a comment, it shows it like that. And I can do that, and I can do that, and I can do that, and do all sorts of things. And you can bring guests in, do all sorts of stuff. StreamYard current cost versus offer ending tomorrow cost. Any idea? No, I don't know the precise things, but I'm on the top tier, which is 30 quid a month. But it's worth it. I think it's worth it. You get great features, and it feels like a good way to maximize your content. If the job of a tool is to make your life easier, this one passes that test with bells on, because I go live once and I can go live in all of my locations on Facebook, plus I get to go live on YouTube and Twitch, whatever it means, live onto Twitter, which is possibly my most neglected platform, although I have quite a large audience on Twitter. The one thing you can't do here, and it's something I'd very much like to work out how to do, is it won't allow you to go live onto Instagram at the same time. So that is something that I am considering, just putting my phone up there and sort of having a simultaneous stream going live to Instagram each week. But that is a whole other issue. I'm just about to go really big on Instagram video content starting August, just because it's a neglected platform, and my audience is on Instagram as well, and so I need to be serving that platform with content as well. So Nick, I'm on the top tier of that of StreamYard. Right, folks, I'm going to wrap this up, I think, unless there are any more questions. I'll give it another sort of few seconds to see if there's anybody who does have another question. And I'm going to have some food because I have spent all day on calls, and I have eaten the grand sum of one bowl of not Abbey Crunch, those are biscuits, of Country Crunch cereal. So, you know, not exactly the world's finest dining today, but I will be having some spaghetti puttanesca tonight. I'm glad you found that interesting. No, it's a pleasure to have you here. Yeah, that's a bargain. That's a great price. That's a great price. That becomes a very easy calculation, I think. Right. On that note, on that bombshell, I will bid you good night, and I will see you next week for the next Content and Cocktails. It's not the end of the month yet, and I said so on the 30. At the end of the month, I will be announcing the monthly winner of the engagement prize in the group. I will just tell you who is currently the front runner in Grow Your Business with Video. We are so close. We're so close to crossing the 800 mark. We have 797 members in the group, and I know these kind of numerical milestones are utterly meaningless, but there's something very satisfying when you see the number tick over. Engagement membership. Here we go. So, top contributors in pole position. Number 1, numero uno, is Pixie Knowles, who isn't here this evening. Number 2 is Tracy Tillman. Number 3, Mike Boss. Mike Boss. And number 4, Karen Dawkins. Kay Squire is not here, but I know Kay's kind of not around that much at the moment. Yeah. Look, guys, that is it for this evening. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure as always. I will see you next week at 7 o'clock for Content and Cocktails, and I will see you in Grow Your Business with Video with Tom Stanhope. If you want to learn more about video content marketing, come join me there for some fun and frolics. Those of you who are on the who are coming to Video Academy training tomorrow morning, I will see you there at 10 o'clock. And Fred the Head will be there with his expressionless demeanor, offering up his angular features so that we can light him and focus on him and do all those things that we need to do. So that is it. Without further kind of nonsense, I will bid you good night and adieu. See you next week. Bye-bye.